What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here. Sorry about my crazy outfit. I actually just got back from a walk and found there was an interesting game about to start, so I figured I'd do a quick recording here. So we have Admiral Piet being played over here by Sandy, and Endless has played a Green Squadron A-Wing. The decks here are actually a blue Cassian deck that Endless has been testing recently versus an Iden Green with the Command Center that we're seeing here from Sandy. So probably an anti-aggro Iden build. Playing Command Center over ECL usually indicates that you're going for some kind of anti-aggro thing. Okay, so we see Endless playing a Wing Leader and buffing the Green Squadron A-Wing. Ooh, Sandy plays a Power of the Dark Side, relatively recent preview, 3 cost event. An opponent chooses a unit they control, defeat that unit. So the Power of the Dark Side just defeats the exhausted Wing Leader, not getting very much value. And Green Squadron A-Wing swings in. I believe this should be for 5. Yeah, it's for 5, but Iden's ability is used to heal 1 here. So probably a good start here for Endless, but we'll see how things continue. I think that Power of the Dark Side was really stifled a bit by the Wing Leader being an easy target for the discard. Another 5 damage to base from that Green Squadron A-Wing. Piet hits Endless's base for 1. Endless plays out K2SO, 4 cost 4/4. When defeated for each opponent, choose 1, either deal 3 damage to that player's base, or that player discards a card from their hand. And we do see Sandy bringing out a Super Laser Technician. So Super Laser Technician, when defeated, you may put this unit into play as a resource and ready. Classic card, extremely strong, and will allow Sandy to probably get to 6 resources this turn and to deploy Iden a turn early, since it can attack into K2 here. Let's see what Endless has to do. Green Squadron A-Wing leads off with another attack for 5. Only 1 base power, but with Raid 2 and the 2 experience from that Wing Leader, it's hitting hard. And now we're going to see the Super Laser Technician attacks into K2 and ends up... Super Laser Technician attacks into K2, ends up dealing 2 damage. And I'm hopefully going to have a less distracting outfit. There we go. Okay, so then Admiral Piet also swings into K2, bringing him down to just 1 life. And then Feelings played. Search Your Feelings played, and Sandy is finding a galactic ambition here. That is spicy. Search Your Feelings, search in your deck for a card and draw it, then shuffle your deck. Brings up Galactic Ambition, sometimes considered one of the worst cards in the game. Play a non-heroic unit from your hand for free and deal damage to your base equal to its cost. Probably going to be used on this next turn to bring out Avenger. Fighters for Freedom hit the field. Iden hits the field. Sabine Explosives Artist appears, dealing 1 damage to the base from the Fighters for Freedom. Iden is going to probably take out Fighters for Freedom here, or maybe K2. Fighters for Freedom. And that's going to heal 1 damage from base as well, thanks to Iden's passive ability. When an enemy unit is defeated, heal 1 damage from your base. Iden's shield protects her from taking any retaliation there. We then see Inferno 4 hitting the board, 2 cost 2/3 when played or when defeated. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Put any number of them on the bottom of your deck and the rest on top in any order. Sandy leaves the cards on top of the deck, so they might be a good hand for this next turn. Let's see how this goes. Endless has already taken the initiative. Okay, an Emperor's Royal Guard and a Homestead Militia there. Let's see here. Heroic Sacrifice with K2 hitting the base for 9 total damage and making that Galactic Ambition suddenly unplayable. Although Iden should heal 1 in this situation because an enemy unit was defeated. I think they forgot to do that. So that should actually be 1 healing there, but I guess it's a missed trigger. 5 to the base there. Iden is going to be able to defeat Sabine, taking 2 damage, healing the base for 1. Okay, now remembering the one from K2 for a cause I believe in, and it hits 4 for lethal damage. That is game. Revealing the top 4 cards, 4 heroic units. For each one revealed, deal 1 damage to an enemy base. And that is the exact lethal damage that Endless needed to close things out. So it looked like in this game, it seemed that Iden was not able to stabilize against this aggression from Cassian. Let's see what's going to happen in round 2. It looks like the players are going to do a rematch here. Let's see what's going to happen here. Oddly, we see Sandy keeping a hand that doesn't have any turn 1 play, but it does have Galactic Ambition into Devastator, so maybe that's the dream. And that make an opening could potentially be a substantial obstacle. Yeah, Sandy just takes the initiative. Okay. Very odd start. I don't understand this deck, but I guess it's a combo deck with this Galactic Ambition and stuff. The question is just if Sandy can do enough to hold things off. Hey, Power of the Dark Side, that's a good draw. And with the initiative, Sandy will be able to play it and clear that Green Squadron A-Wing before it swings. That's what a difference the initiative makes. If there had been that opportunity in the previous game, it might not have gone out of control. That Green Squadron A-Wing buff by the Wing Leader ended up being a giant problem. But this time, Power of the Dark Side clears it out. So Endless has to discard a unit and only has 1. Is going to be able to play out a Fighters for Freedom, though, which could itself add up. Initiative taken here by Sandy yet again. Doesn't see another really strong card for this moment. But what we could see is Inferno 4 kind of selecting those top cards a bit. Another Power of the Dark Side here would be excellent, but unfortunately for Sandy, that's not in the cards, so to speak. We're instead going to see Inferno 4, 2 cost 2/3. When played or when defeated, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put any number of them on the bottom of your deck and the rest on top in any order. One on top, one on bottom. Red 3 hits the field here, dealing 1 damage to the base thanks to Fighters for Freedom's ability, and also giving Fighters for Freedom Raid 1. Fighters for Freedom here, when you play another aggression card, you may deal 1 damage to a base. Initiative taken here by Sandy, and then swings for... So they did that for just 3. I point out that it should just be 4 to the base for red 3. I don't think that's a mistrigger. Trigger. That's like an effect that just should be on all the time. Cassian's ability then used to draw a card, so action 1 resource exhaust. If you've dealt 3 or more damage to an enemy base this phase, draw a card. Oh man, the force is with me in hand here. Choose a friendly unit and give 2 experience. Regional governor shows up and says, for a cause I believe in. I think that's a little premature. Normally, you don't want to play that until closer to the end game, but might still inhibit Endless somewhat. We'll have to see what happens. Red 3 just going for the base, not bothering to engage Inferno 4, even though it could take it out easily. I think there's a good chance we'll see this make an opening used to debuff Red 3 and allow Inferno 4 to get the kill. Yeah, make an opening on red 3. So that's going to give it -2, and heal 2 damage from the base. Red 3 is now a 0/1, so Inferno 4 will be able to attack and clear red 3 without taking any damage in return and get that unit off the board. This would be a good time for Endless to make an attack with that Fighters for Freedom before red 3 dies and loses the buff. He ends up playing K2 instead, so losing out on 1 damage there from sequencing. If he had made the attack first, he could have played K2 afterwards, still gotten some results. 3 to base there from Fighters for Freedom. And the question now is whether we're going to see Iden use to heal one or whether Sandy will take the initiative. Does end up being the heal. And I think that makes sense because Cassian is likely going to draw this turn, so Sandy can probably get the initiative anyway. Indeed, Endless does go for the draw. Sandy, man, this is so weird. What a bad hand for Sandy. All expensive stuff. The only thing that the only thing to play this turn is that resupply. It's so awkward. Galactic Ambition being resource, which I think is prudent. Um, okay, so Iden can deploy this turn, and she can maybe cause some problems for the rebels on the ground arena. So Iden has a strong 4/4 stat line, comes with 4/4 shielded stat line. 4/4 base stat line would be quite bad for a 6-drop leader, but that shield token can mean a lot. And when an enemy unit is defeated, heal 1 damage from your base as a passive ability now. So a pretty strong situation. So then let's see what's going on here. Hmm. Heroic Sacrifice. 1 damage to base from Fighters for Freedom. He draws a card. K2 swings into the base for 6. And then 3 to base from K2 being defeated here. Okay. Oh, and then 1 healed from Iden's ability when K2 is defeated. And then Iden swings in, clears the Fighters for Freedom, and heals. I actually think it would have been better for Endless to use the Heroic Sacrifice on the Fighters for Freedom to allow them to kill Iden in one shot through her shield since they have Saboteur. I think that would have been a substantially better play because Iden actually represents a large amount of potential healing and other problems. Hey, there's a for a cause I believe in Endless's hands. That regional governor is actually suppressing something now. And Sandy plays that resupply. Oh, this is a crazy game. I don't think Sandy is going to stabilize in time, but those large units like this reinforcement walker, we could easily see this doing some major healing. It can be played on the next turn. This could be crazy. Another copy of K2 hits the field, and now that the heroic sacrifice makes more sense, by getting rid of the first K2, he enables this second K2. Cassian hits Cassian hits Sandy's base for 4. When you deal damage to an enemy base, you may draw a card. Endless is accumulating a massive card advantage through all the value he's getting from Cassian's ability here. It's crazy. Crazy how many cards he's been drawing. He's got 7 cards in hand here. Reinforcement Walker hits the board. When played or on attack, look at the top card of your deck. Either draw that card or discard it and heal 3. Discards a Devastator and heals 3. I think this is a bit of a misplay. I think that he should have. Well, I don't know. I personally think it would have been a good idea to have Iden Versio immediately trade with K2 in order to prevent K2 from hitting the base. I think there's a chance now that Endless can actually get lethal damage this turn. Fleet Lieutenant Cassian into the base for 6 and draws a card. He didn't attack with K2 for some reason. Iden needs to trade with K2 immediately, in my opinion. Yeah, Iden trades with K2. So heals 1 from the base with Iden's ability. Iden heals 1 from the base, and then K2 deals 3 to the base, presumably. Oh, I think he may have forgotten the trigger on K2. I think he forgot to deal the 3 damage to the base with K2. He just takes the initiative. Why is this 5? Oh, okay. It's 3 to base. Okay. So then next turn, only 7 HP on the base here. for Sandy, but this reinforcement walker can start doing a lot of healing if it gets the chance. Look at the top card of your deck, either draw that card or discard it and heal 3 damage from your base. Another noble sacrifice, sending the Fleet Lieutenant in for 5 damage and drawing a card. Draws another Fleet Lieutenant, that's probably lethal. The Walker hits Cassian, looks at the top card, chooses to discard it, heals 3 from base, and that defeats Cassian. Sandy might actually be stabilizing here. I think that forgotten or the missed trigger on K2 might be critical. The crazy thing is there could be another reinforcement walker hitting the board this turn, and that's a huge amount of healing. I think Endless should have used the noble sacrifice on Cassian instead of on the Fleet Lieutenant, given that the reinforcement walker could clear it in one shot, but I could be wrong. Second reinforcement walker hits the field. Look at the top card, choose to either draw it or discard it. Discards it, another 3 healing from the base. Endless is now actually in trouble. Needs to find some way to get more damage through at this point, because these reinforcement walkers, if they keep getting to attack, will be hitting for 6 total damage. Or will be healing for 6 total damage in a turn. There's a For a Cause I believe in hand, but it can't actually be played because that regional governor is still blocking it. I originally thought that was an odd play from Sandy to name For a Cause with this regional governor, but it's now looking like that might actually be a lot of value. Iden's ability used to heal 1 from the base. Endless taking the initiative, and then 3 more damage from the governor and Inferno 4. How can Endless get out of this situation? Oh, a Jedi lightsaber for Callus might be a good option. Oh, but we could see Devastator played this turn to just kill him. I think Endless needs to play the forces with me to attack with Callus and shield him, as well as giving him experience. But even then, there's other units that can break the shield. I actually think Sandy has done it. I could be wrong here, but I think Sandy is going to be able to stabilize this. Kanan just kills the governor, milling 2 cards because there are 2 specters here. The odds of actually milling out are very low, but 2 healing there from Kanan's ability. So on attack, you may discard 1 card from the defending player's deck for each friendly Spectre unit. Heal 1 damage from your base for each different aspect among the discarded cards. Devastator shows up and defeats Sabine. No, no, Sandy is all kinds of stable here. This game is over. The force is with me, used on Kanan just to give him 2 experience and a shield. Will make him harder to deal with for these walkers. Oh, let's see. How much damage is that on Kanan? 6? 6 power. Could be given the Jedi lightsaber. Yeah, Jedi lightsaber on Kanan also. No, it's For a Cause I believe in. 1, 2, only hits for 3. There was a single disabling Fang Fighter there, which misses, but 3 damage to the base. I don't think they actually took the damage from For a Cause. Okay, so yeah, they're fixing it now. So now this reinforcement walker the shield, knocks out the shield from Kanan. I think Endless should have played this Jedi lightsaber on Kanan instead of doing For a Cause. Um, that would have put him in a position where he would actually kill the walker if it swung into him. And yeah, now the other walker swings with Kanan or trades with Kanan. Healing again. Endless is done. He has no hope now. The reinforcement walkers have too much sustain. And if Sandy starts swinging for the base, it can be 12, uh, 18 damage. Yeah, he has lethal in one turn. And I don't think Endless has any way to win this now. Endless also perhaps neglected to use the security complex here, which could have been used to protect Kanan. Tough situation overall. I think there were a few blunders here from Endless, missing the trigger on K2, and then this situation. I think Sandy's got this one, but I think Endless could have had it with a bit tighter play. Another copy of Kanan hits the board, but at this point, Sandy can just swing for lethal. All right, so now all Sandy has to do is swing all three of these units into the base, and that is game. That would be put to 26 total damage. And the reinforcement walkers, I don't think they've done a single card draw, but they've done a massive amount of healing. In fact, I would say this reinforcement walker has basically saved the game, or these reinforcement walkers, the two of them, have basically saved the game for Sandy. Endless now equips the Jedi lightsaber to Kanan, but it's too late. Devastator for 10, and then Inferno 4 in position to win the game. All Endless does is take the initiative, and that is game. All right, so that's gonna be a win for Sandy in the second round. Let's see if they do a round three. That was some interesting gameplay. Okay, let's see what happens here. Round three. The two decks are 1-1. I don't know if you guys can pick up on this on the mic, but we got some barking or howling dogs outside for some reason. See what happens there. Wow, what an interesting man. Oh, okay. So Sandy actually mulliganed a hand that had opening plays into one that didn't have them. Uh, so just ends up being initiative being taken here. Ooh, and this time doesn't draw the power of the dark side to bail out. This is a very poor start for Sandy against an aggro deck, and I think it might end up being game. Yeah, first action, take the initiative. That is really not where you want to be. And Endless swings in for 3 from the Green Squadron A-Wing and then brings out the Fighters for Freedom as well. Also, sorry for having the space arena below the arena here. Normally, I think the ground arena on the bottom makes sort of thematic sense, but I was sort of jumping into casting, still wearing my reflective vest for walking at night, so didn't quite think of everything. Just realized about that part now. Okay, so we're gonna see a takedown play to clear the Fighters for Freedom. The A-Wing does 3 more damage to base. Iden's ability used here to heal 1 from the base, and Kanan hits the field. All 3 reinforcement walkers in hand, but is Sandy going to actually get to them after a very slow start? Resourcing the regional governor here, boy, that is a bold move. I think if I were in this position, I think I would definitely resource a reinforcement walker and then play both the shuttle and the governor this turn. Frontline shuttle hits the board. 2 cost 1/3 action. Defeat this unit. Attack with the unit even if it's exhausted. Can't attack bases for the attack. Unfortunately, there's not another unit for it to support. that A-Wing and now Kanan doing damage to the base, and then Cassian's ability used for a draw, and now we're going to see K2 on the field. This is just such a bad situation for Sandy. If Sandy can pull off this comeback, it's going to be one of the craziest results I've ever seen in this game, quite frankly. Speaking quite frankly here. Okay, so this turn we could see make an opening used to kill something and do some healing. The militia, the Homestead Militia does actually have Sentinel here. So this is a 3 cost 3/4. While you control 6 or more resources, this unit gains Sentinel. So in this situation, it does have Sentinel because we are at 6 resources. Wing Leader shows up and buffs K2 into a 6/6. That's going to allow K2 to defeat that Sentinel while also doing some overwhelm damage. Frontline Shuttle is in a position to hit Frontline Shuttle could kill the Wing Leader and remain alive. Could also debuff the A-Wing with make an opening and then kill it. Iden deploys first, though. Deploying Iden is actually pretty reasonable here, in my opinion, because it means that any other units defeated are going to be healing without losing any tempo. We'll see what happens here. I think K2 is going to smash I think K2 is going to smash the Homestead Militia. So overwhelmed does 2 damage, but K2 takes 3. That now puts Iden in a position to take out K2, losing her shield. I think you definitely take the kill there. Make an opening, debuffing the A-Wing first. So that gives the A-Wing -2/-2 and heals 2 damage from the base. So the A-Wing is now a -1/1. So if it attacks with raid, and the Jedi lightsaber hits the field for Kanan. That's a big problem. The frontline shuttle clears out the A-Wing thanks to that buff from Make an Opening. It doesn't even take any retaliation damage. Kanan uses his Jedi lightsaber just to hit the base for 7 damage, milling another frontline shuttle. Iden is going to kill K2 here, I think. I think that's the only play that makes sense for Iden. Yeah, Iden defeats K2, losing her shield. Incorrectly dealing damage to her. Okay, yeah, yeah. So then Cassian deploys. Fun fact, if Cassian and Iden deploy on the same turn, Cassian can actually attack Iden and defeat her through the shield with Saboteur. But he just goes for the base and gets a card draw, and there really needs to be a Vanquish or something to deal with that Kanan, otherwise it's game. Or a Barrage or something, or looks like Sandy goes for the stylish Galactic Ambition self-destruct, plays the Avenger, and deals 9 damage to his own base, uh, closing out the game. So, after a 1-1 start, that third game with the third game there with no play on the first or second turn from Sandy ended up being unfortunate. And we had the blue Cassian deck there from Endless, which isn't running all that much blue, ultimately able to get the win over the 30 HP anti-aggro Galactic Ambition item. So a bit of an unusual matchup there, but hopefully something you guys find interesting. Thanks to y'all for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.